All right, everyone, we've got the Veep stakes. We got to talk about them. I will always point this out when I talk about this topic. I'm assuming that Trump has already pretty much chosen who he wants to be running mate. But you never see the term running mate used now, do you? Trump-hating elements of the legacy media typically, and they're doing this accidentally, they refer to whoever he chooses as his VP, as though he's already won. I think they look at the polling and they see Biden is going to have a real uphill struggle to get past the finish line, even with ballot printers going burr. Of course, several states defortifying. It gets you to over 270 if you're in Trump's position. North Carolina's off the table at this point. It's not a swing state, so it looks like Georgia may be moving that direction very steadily. That's pretty good, yeah. When Virginia and Minnesota look competitive, I think some people have seen the writing on the wall. Therefore, it's disproportionately important to some of us who the running mate actually is, who the vice president is. They're going to be a heartbeat away from the presidency under the second oldest president who's ever served. Not saying that I expect Trump to keel. He's certainly in better cognitive health than Joe Biden by far. But he is older. There is always the possibility that the deep state tries to JFK him or something like that. So it matters who the running mate is disproportionately. This was a thing for Obama, too. Why do you think that he chose the safe, old, straight, white dude who would appeal to the boomers? Because there was always the people who had it in their mind. Well, you know, first black president, heightened risk of assassination. Also, there's a contraposition, of personalities and so forth. So you could have your court jester Biden, and he play acted a court jester basically for Obama. And then Obama, he's the whippersnapper, but with the cool new ideas. He's the cool new kid. Dab on him and stuff like that. Link in the description, archived, of course. Some commentators think Elise Stefanik is the most likely. She would definitely be, she's obviously on the short list. She's been talked up a great deal. Don't put too much stock in this kind of article, though. Over the prior months, the legacy media has gone from figure to figure to figure. Well, it's probably going to be Tim Scott. Well, it's probably going to be Marco Rubio. Well, it's probably going to be Elise. They don't know. Do you think that Trump is giving them news tips? I don't think so. I don't think that he has a very good relationship with CNN, MSNBC, or at this point even fucking Fox News. They're playing it pretty close to the chest. I don't know why they're waiting so long, but when you have a vice presidential debate already slated now, the date is already set, at some point you need to choose a running mate. I would say Elise Stefanik, who's the one in focus right now, that's the flavor of the week, is viable. It wouldn't turn me off from the ticket. She is a firebrand, is well-spoken, and part of GOP leadership in general. That being said, I don't know particularly what she brings to the ticket. I can think of some people who they bring something to the ticket or help to manifest more votes. For example, if you were to go with Tim Scott, he's black. That will get you some of the black votes. I don't think it'd be a significant number of people, but if you wanted to do the id poll thing, try to out-dem the Dems, you do get that. I think that Tulsi Gabbard, of the people being seriously considered, is still the best choice. Young, female, military experience. She hits all of the marks. She's well-spoken. She crushed Kamala already in one debate. It'd be funny to see them, at the vice presidential debate. I still believe that she is, of the people on that short list, other than the dark horse category, so, somebody who's you didn't think was being considered, this person comes out of nowhere and becomes minted as running mate. I think of those people on the short list, Tulsi Gabbard is the best. I would have said, up until recently, that it was Kristi Noem. I thought that she was the top candidate. She torpedoed herself. It's almost like political suicide. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking with her dog thing. Hey, I'm from rural America. I can be hip to it and understand, mostly, but, God, you released it at exactly the wrong time. You had to know that the suburbanites would say, she shot Fluffy. And you had to know that the legacy media was absolutely going to take it out of context and rail you, to the point where she had to cancel her fucking book tour. I mean, she tried to excuse herself. She fell apart, basically. By the way, that's actually probably a good thing. You don't want to have a vice president who cracks under pressure. And so she showed her unique disqualifying feature for that particular job. This is one of Kamala's problems. Kamala is like a deer in the headlights and giggles nervously whenever something that's grotesque or evil is brought up. It's optically poor. Gabbard is one of the best. Kari Lake would be on that list for speaking skills. So would Stefanik. Here's the thing, though. Core GOP leadership with Stefanik. That in and of itself, while strategically an asset, doesn't necessarily bring home the bacon in terms of an additional voting bloc. Kari Lake has been a journo, so on the legacy media front end, she'll run rings around them. She's an excellent debater, she's well-spoken, she ticks a bunch of boxes too. The problem is that she's also very, very strongly associated with core MAGA, especially being from Arizona. I don't know that Trump benefits from that in any meaningful sense. With Gabbard, I think he does. He gets a latent, imagine this, former Democrat is now the Republican vice president. What does that bring to you? Disenfranchised Democrats. Hey, I can kind of get her. You know, I was a registered Democrat, but then they went off into la-la land, and they'll associate with her, and I think that that's the way to go forward. Stefanik, though, would be reasonable. Rubio, and she'd be on the Rubio tier as far as I'm concerned. It's sort of like, I've got some issues, but they're not terribly large numbers of them. They're not so important that I'm going to abandon the fucking ticket. There would be disqualifying figures if they were chosen, like Nikki Haley. If he were crazy enough to choose her, then his campaign would collapse. I'd still vote for Trump, but it'd be a lot of stink to hold your nose for. Thankfully, we know that's not going to happen. He's come out officially and said, no, Nikki Haley is not being considered for that particular role. I think that the short list is probably along the lines of what has been analyzed. It's people that are up on stage with Trump on a regular basis or fulfilling some sort of major party function that he might try to gobble up in order to control more machinations within the party. That would be the Stefanik move. I think there are wiser choices. There's also Ramaswamy. There's Byron and a few others, Larry Elder, that are being considered. For some reason, some people say Ben Carson. No. He should be in the cabinet. Yeah, he should definitely have a job, but I just don't think that he has the charisma to be a vice. I mean, he'd still defeat Kamala Harris, but then again, so could a 10-year-old who, took a couple of lessons on the local debate team, so it's not really saying much. Gabbard to destroy Kamala and grab up some of those suburban voters that had voted for Biden and now learned their lesson, and they feel more comfortable because the VP is a former Democrat. I think that works best. Stefanik would be fine, though. To be clear, there's nobody, to my knowledge, that's being seriously considered that would turn me off of the ticket. Like, a John McCain or something like that, or a Cornyn. Those people aren't being considered. Whoever it is will effectively just be Trump's pawn anyway, but they do fulfill as a unique role. They also have to cast the tying vote in the Senate, should that need arise. Well, even if the GOP gets a majority, there's no telling what a handful of the neocons might do, and so you might need your VP to step in and support a MAGA agenda over the shrill cries of a handful of unipartyists trying to derail it. That would be important. You're probably going to still be fairly close in the Senate. Maximum, I think, is a 55 seat in the Senate. I think that's pushing it. I don't think that the Republicans are going to do quite that well. They could. It's plausible because of the map of the states that have to be defended by the Dems. They're not looking forward to that. I just don't think it's likely. That's about all. Peace out.